Poopy Dan asked, maybe everyone else already knows this, but how did you guys meet? We've talked about this, maybe not in a long time, but we've talked about it previously, but this has got a lot of likes, so maybe people want to hear it. I saw Tony throw my best friend into a pool at a pool party. And so then I tried, it was not a pool party. It was a
It was
Halloween
not
party.
a pool party. It was not seasonal.
And so then I tried to throw Tony into the pool after that. And Tony had a good enough grip on me to where we were both going to go into the pool if I continued. So then I just decided Tony would be my new best friend instead of going into the pool.
Yeah, that was it. Basically, what happened was, I mean, I didn't realize that was happening at the moment, but what I was doing is I was literally and figuratively like throwing your best friend into the pool to take his place.
Yeah, you essentially like kicked him out the moon door.
Yeah. It's really embarrassing because that was like not a good moment. Like I was a total. I've been an asshole a couple times, and that was definitely one of them. And it's like such a funny thing that like that's like, oh, because I you know it's so embarrassing that I was like so shitty at some point in time.
What was okay? So the story is we won't say his name. What was he dressed as? What was his costume? Was he?
I forgot.
Was he Hugh Hefner, or was he a priest, or?
Oh, I think it was a priest.
Or was he the devil? I don't know. He was somebody.
Was yeah.
Was he like Hitler? No. He's Mexican, so it's okay for him to be Hitler for Halloween, guys.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, I don't remember what I don't remember what it was that even like what it was that made
he said
that?
He said what he was for Halloween, and your immediate reaction was to throw him in the pool. I think you were pretty drunk, but I
was definitely drunk.
There was like some loose, tenuous reason for. Anyway, that's not how we Tony and I first met.
No.
We knew each other from high school.
Yeah.
He went to summer school at my high school at the same time I was at summer school there, and I think we bonded over hardcore. Maybe specifically the band Shockwave. That was one of the.
I think Shockwave was one of them.
One of the bands. We saw each other wearing cool shirts, and so we became friends. And then much later was that Halloween party.
Yeah.
And then you came on. You started coming on That Awful Sound, and you became like almost you were there like every other week for a couple months until we started Minion Death Cult.
Yeah, it definitely kicked something off there. Yeah, so funny.
Okay, we go back up to the top here. So this one, I feel like I have to read it just because a lot of people liked it, but I'm not going to have a good answer for it. But I just want to respect the question, and I appreciate it. Robbie says, might be too much for a stream, but I'd be really interested in hearing Alex and or Tony talk about revolutionary unionism. See, like I barely know what that is. I remember an episode in 2021 where Alex mentioned how most unions are a way towards labor peace through compromise, and I'm curious if that's your view on all labor organizing, including unions like the Industrial Workers of the World. Hearing the union shit is one of the absolute highlights of the show for me. I'm so glad you talk about it and help make it real to listeners. My guess as to what revolutionary unionism is unions with revolution in mind. Unions with overthrowing capital in mind. I would love if the Teamsters were part of that union. I know they've had their weak moments even in the recent history. Don't think we're quite there yet. I love the new language from the new leadership. I think it's far more militant, at least in terms of whatever trade unionism or whatever you call it. I think IWW is great idea. I think that's probably how, like, what I mean. You would need like a non-nationalistic type, and I mean IBT, International Brotherhood of Teamsters. We're an international brotherhood, and there's a lot of solidarity going on among different trades, and I think it just helps to like elevate working class consciousness. You know, it helps people who aren't even in a union. Of course, they still need a union, but I think it's good in general. I'm not really a pessimist when it comes to like left stuff. You know, you can nitpick a lot of shit, but reality's the way it is. And there's only so much you can do. And I'm really bullish. I think that's the right term. I'm really positive about the way labor is going in this country.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's one of the few highlights that is happening right now. One of the things I do feel optimistic about right now in this country. And I think it is so important because it does it is one of the things that like it is the united thing. It's the thing that everyone, whether they know it or not, is going to benefit them the most. So like I think it is one of the few things I'm like positive, feeling good about, feeling optimistic about, enjoying seeing good conversations happening around it. Um, I think people are getting more like real about it, in the sense that, understanding what it does take to organize and doing that, seeing that happening like across the country with a lot of the service industry spots doing it like kind of correctly now and getting these victories is really something to get excited about. And hopefully that just continues. Um, but yeah, if we make it to where it's just like so many people are in the union that you're definitely an outlier if you're not, and you're definitely not benefiting from not being part of it, then that's going to be that's going to be a good thing because everyone's going to be getting what they deserve.
Casper wants to know, Tony, what do you recommend is a good bread to start baking for beginners? I got a Dutch oven recently from a friend and want to try making bread from scratch. All your bread's going to smell like farts, dude. You got to use something else.
Got it. It's good fart starter. No, the Perfect Loaf is like a blog that got me into it, and they have like so just look up the Perfect Loaf. Look up the tartine recipe. Fuck tartine. Tartine Union is a good example of an early organizing effort that did not pan out because we were learning. We didn't know a lot of stuff, and a lot of people learned from that, I think. But anyways, the tartine recipe is very good, and the Perfect Loaf has a really good write up on how to do it. Just keep it simple. Just do a simple ass boule. Less is more. Like, and yeah, that's a really good start. Yeah, Perfect Loaf is really really good. Um, and some of them are gonna suck. Just keep doing it. Don't give up until you've done at least like 4 different bakes, and then you can give up if you want.
That's good advice.
But you're gonna get a good one in that 4, so that's gonna make you want to do it again. I've been lacking. I need to get back on my baking just for myself. But yeah, just be patient and less is more, and keep it simple. It's fun. Good luck. Keep me updated. Yeah, Mike, I've helped people with that in the past. Like, if you ever want to like need help, you can hit me up. I'll answer some questions if I can.
Johnny asks, closest you've come to being fired without getting fired from a bullshit job? No, I was just fired from my first 2 jobs, my first 2 official jobs. There was no like close to getting fired, and it was funny. No, wait. I quit Pizza Hut to go work at Subway. This is so long ago. This is like when I was 15 and 16. So I'm like having trouble remembering it. Working for Pizza Hut was super fun. I ate so much free pizza and free 2-liter soda. We just had a 2-liter soda going in the walk-in fridge for everybody, and you would use the sauce cups as your cup.
Hell yeah.
I got fired from Subway, like I alluded to in the last Patreon episode. I think it was for the reasons stated in that episode. The getting close to being fired and not being fired, that's all UPS. I was fired by UPS, and the union said, no, he's not.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But that was when I was part-time loading trucks. I wasn't planning on being my career, so it was all very funny to me. I had to like sit on the opposite side of a table from my center manager, who was like extremely upset, and I got to tell her to keep her voice down when she talked to me. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can never imagine. I want that, but I've never had that. I've never come close to getting fired. I always got fired. Yeah, or I quit. Like I would quit. I've quit a couple times. I've definitely been fired for some like dumb, silly reasons. But like, yeah, I've always like quit or like got fired. Never in between. I got rehired at Starbucks. I got let go and then rehired at Starbucks. I guess that kind of counts.
Is it the same one or a different location?
No, I started at one location. I went to another location, got fired from that location, got rehired at my old location like a year later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then got fired from that location pretty fast after that.
I got some good Pizza Hut and Subway stories. We'll have to talk about our food service stories sometime.
Yeah. Because like I mean I did a bunch of coffee and I did a bunch of bartending, so we got some stories, folks.
Emilio asks, "Have you discussed what led to starting MDC? Was there a specific story that led to starting the podcast? Also, were there any names for the podcast in the running? Love the show and love listening to you guys. Listening to you guys really helped me this last year and a half. Thanks." Well, thank you, Emilio. Yeah, the alternate name for the podcast was Tony Won't Stop Coughing.
Yeah.
Tony coughs the experience.
It's a whole bonus episode we're gonna actually do. It's gonna just be me coughing.
The alternative name for this, there were only ever two possible names, and the other name was the only name sillier than Minion Death Cult, which was, I was thinking about calling it Meme Death of the Universe.
Yep.
Like Heat Death of the Universe. Didn't want the name meme in the title of the podcast, so we went for Minion instead.
Yeah, instead. We thought that was better. You know, it's that thing where I remember when we first thought of it, I was like, this is the silliest thing possible. But then as we've shown, it's just been proven so correct. Time and time again. A funny thing I like to do every once in a while is like I'll search on like Twitter. I'll search the words Minion Death Cult.
It's called name searching. You don't have to explain it to people.
Well, no, but not in that order, and like different orders,
okay.
And see how much it organically just shows up.
It does.
Those three words,
yeah.
In post like all the time about from the exact people we're talking about all the time. You know, and like we've gone on to like, you know, coin terms like Minion's Law, which holds super steady.
Yeah.
So I can't believe how on point it's actually become.
Yeah, and it started because I was seeing back to back, because I've always been a sicko and interested in like cringe and awful comment sections. You know, I'm a child of the early internet. I grew up on awful message boards. I grew up seeing weird shit that I shouldn't have seen at a very young age, and I loved seeing more of it. I loved looking at weird aspects of humanity, and so I was already seeing like back to back memes with minions like killing liberals or killing Saddam Hussein or whatever. And so, yeah, that's one of the geneses of the show. And then we covered Adam Calhoun for that awful sound, who's the right-wing hip-hop rapper. He did like a Stand for the Flag song right around, you know, the time of Colin Kaepernick. And I think we were just looking for another podcast to do, Tony. We were looking for a podcast to do with you specifically, you and Matt. And we were just like, what if this is the pod? What if we cover these weirdos for the new show? And so that episode is the first episode of Minion Death Cult.
Yeah, that is the origin. And it, you know what? I think it's still a banger. Rob Toyota did ask, what is the official definition of Minion's Law?
Yeah, you want me to go?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
So it's like Godwin's Law. It's as an argument online develops as The number of replies in a comment section approaches infinity. The likelihood that somebody will call for a civil war against their neighbors or the cities, the likelihood increases to 100%.
Yeah, yeah. And this has been proven, on such articles as like KFC having the vegan chicken.
Civil war time.
That's Civil War time. Like for everything, the most petty thing ever. Civil War time. We see it all the time. Like we see it so often that we see it and we don't even use it on the show.
Yeah, it's become clear. It's not even like interesting to talk about anymore. There's got to be something else along with the call to string up your blockmates, the people, your HOA in your suburb. Yeah, and then also my cousin. My cousin was one of these guys who was like being psycho on Facebook to me and my family, saying incredibly bad stuff about like my infant nephew, about what MS-13 was going to do to my 1.5-year-old nephew because my sister voted Democrat, shit like that.
You want to hear something really funny?
Yeah.
Speaking of MS-13 and like that time when we had Rob on the show, remember my friend who got mad at us because MS-13 killed his dad?
Did we talk about that on that episode?
Well, we just talked about MS-13. We made a post about it, and he's like, MS-13 is not funny. MS-13 killed my dad. So what's funny though is that guy has a Harambe tattoo now. Like that's the real life we live in. Like that's how funny is that, right?
Yeah, totally.
I think it's like in minor threat font. I think it says like RIP Harambe and like minor threat font.
Okay.
It's like, and
that sucks so bad.
It sucks so bad. Like, remember how like people didn't realize how racist that shit was?
I don't remember. Were they saying like he didn't do nothing or some shit like that? Harambe didn't do nothing.
The whole thing was like, we're gonna have like the utmost reverence for this like gorilla that got shot, like while not acknowledging all the other like people who are getting shot.
Yeah.
And like go really hard on this like this gorilla because we respect this gorilla. And it was like a kind of just like this. It was really shitty, but yeah, it's so funny that guy now has a RIP Harambe tattoo.
Did he get it recently?
I think he got it like a little bit ago. I think.
I mean,
like,
it's never okay.
Post-pandemic,
but it would just be funnier if he had gotten it. Oh, post-pandemic?
I think it was probably like post-pandemic. Yeah.
Oh my god!
I think, yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna go in and ask for a Dat Boy tattoo. And I'm not going to let them look at their phone. I'm going to demand they do it from memory.
You're going to be like, oh, I want a Dat Boy tattoo, but I want it to be like Western traditional.
No, I want it to be a realist. I want it to be realism.
Yeah, yeah.
I want him to look like a real frog on a unicycle.
Yeah.